is if they're just doing structural. This is a home that was built in 1940s, and there's a lot of issues that come up with those homes. Mainly like knob and tube wiring, potentially asbestos flooring, and there's a lot of little things. So the structural report probably only cover like 1/10 of what really needs to get inspected on that place, you know? The structural engineering, that's one thing, but they got like 9 other things that you're gonna have to pass inspection on, you know what I mean? Insulation, flooring, electrical.
I see, okay.
Yeah. So, and that's if you say you want, in the thing it says FHA, right? You thinking FHA?
Yeah, what kind of loan was it?
Yeah, 30-year FHA.
Yeah, FHA, yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to be a huge hang up on that if it doesn't pass all that. 1940s homes has those issues. It's actually, it's like 1940s have less structural issues and more like cosmetic, like the insulation is probably not up to code. You could have single pane glass in there, meaning that those windows, that's probably why the HVAC is so, you see I said 20% of a CapEx takes care of the HVAC.
I just put that down there just for rough numbers, just to be conservative. Yeah. I was watching his video, so I just put 20% on there.
What I would check for, if I'm doing like a purchase on this, FHA financing, they really scrutinize though, like really hard, like the inspection, you know? And so does the Section 8. So either one of those exits are gonna be, they're gonna go in there and try to get all that information. But that's good for you because if you tell the agent that, yeah, that's a lot of bargaining chips, you know, negotiation. Because that agent, if he's not making you aware of all that stuff, he's not really, he's not really helping out this house.
I think he is making me aware. He sent me the disclosure yesterday, and I was looking through that, and then he sent me the structural agreement to, or the
just the structural
foundation report. But that's the first time I've ever seen one of those either. So
yeah, and those homes do have that issue.
Progress.
They're common in that area for that year, that decade. It's like basically all 1930s, 40s, 50s. I mean, even all the way up to the 80s, you have asbestos problems. You have poor insulation. Foundational structural issues are huge. There's cracks in those concrete all the time. It's like the mud and terrain slips and slides over the years, and it cracks the concrete. You know.
I can see that. Okay.
Yeah. So those are all things you want to keep note of. Like if I'm negotiating with this agent, I'm telling him that's the reason. If he wants to like question why I'm offering 96.3 cash, I'll just tell him like that's the reason, because I have to go in there and do all that due diligence, you know. And basically, the thing. So in this situation, like I was saying, I would probably shoot him a cash offer at 96,300 at first. So my option A would be, I got you a cash offer at 96.3. You want to present that to your owners, see what they say, and if they don't like that, just come back to me and we can work on asking price. But we have to go through a channel called Seller Finance, which would be a subject to offer. You know, does that kind of make sense?
To cover, so have to cover the subject to, or have to cover.
You don't have to say subject to just yet. Just tell them that we can entertain asking with Seller Finance.
Okay.
That's all you have to say. And then the details will iron out that it'll probably be sub 2. Which I looked out, I looked into this place on subject 2 for you also. And the payment, it shows you're saying like 573. But it's pulling up at 333. And another thing about your subject 2 is you had 6% interest in this. Is that right?
Gosh, let's see here on that house.
Because it was. 6%.
Let's see. Did he give the mortgage on there? I don't know how you came out with 6% on there.
Well, I
but-
was reading. You know what I was reading? I was reading Jason's J2 Invest sheet, and he's saying a 5-year balloon, if possible, current market rate. So he's doing current market rate interest.
Oh, hold on. Sorry about that. That's a template. That is not what this deal is about.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm seeing that
Yeah.
now. Yeah. All right. So then scratch the 6%. So your payment is a little bit off. At 6% interest, it's not a good deal. It's a bad deal. But I will say that if you look into it, their interest rate is in the low 3s. So that is a good sub 2 deal, potentially. Their payment's only $333. So I would get on the phone, Mr. Garcia, and the owner, and just explain to him that you can give him the money every month, or you can just link your account to his mortgage, and it'll just draft from your account. Does that make sense? You can either send him the money to pay the mortgage, or you can set up a servicing company where the servicing company pulls money directly out of your account, basically links your personal account to, or an LLC account, but basically your account. It'll link your account, whatever account you have the money in, it'll link that to their mortgage account. Does that make sense? And the reason that you do that is they basically make sure that their mortgage gets paid. So your account you'll have a draft set up per month on your personal account for $333.32. And that'll be the draft that goes, when that comes due, that bill, it'll hit, and then it'll take it out of your account, it'll send it over to their mortgage, and that's how you get a confirmation that the mortgage is paid, and that's how it's paid. Does that make sense?
Len, if you were just, I don't know if it cut out. I heard the 332 taken out. That's all I heard.
Yeah,
Maybe
sorry.
before that. Sorry.
It probably didn't cut out, but basically what it's going to do here is, I'm looking at this thing you said, Austin Moore. All right, the current condition of property is good. Yeah, FHA 3.2. Wait. Yeah, so the HVAC can get updated, but you still might have single pane windows in there, and you still could potentially have asbestos insulation and flooring. You don't know that for sure, So that's your due diligence. And then I see here, because you can put a big old AC, a big old furnace in there, but if you don't have insulation, or if you got like single pane windows, your heat, all that heat's just gonna go right out the windows and the walls. It doesn't matter how big your furnace is. So that's a problem with CapEx. And then that's why I would probably negotiate and tell them, like, okay, that's great that the bathroom HVAC's done, but you still need insulation and you still need good windows. Like, I would probably say that house is probably, I'm willing to wager, like, in the low teens of R value at best. Where
in the low what? Sorry.
Like R value, like the insulation, like I would say it's probably like R9 insulation. It's a very low value of insulation. Like in really cold areas, you want like R35 plus. Standard insulation, especially like asbestos insulation, what he's dealing with, is like R11. It's not good. Single pane windows, the R value on it, barely even 12, 13, very low. Double pane windows, you get like R values like 29 plus sometimes. So it doesn't matter. HVAC can be updated, but it still doesn't mean it's going to hold the heat in, or hold the cold in.
Okay.
And then, so the main area of long-term concern is the foundation. Yeah. So any home that's more than like 30 years old always has potential foundation issues. The mud slides, slope. There's all kinds of problems with erosion. So there could be cracks all inside that cellar and foundation. So you definitely, the due diligence on this would be at least 14 days. Are you prepared to go to that property and do all this inspection work?
I don't know. I don't think so, but I know he.
Okay.
I think he left an email that there is somebody that can travel to go and do that. I think I got a letter sent along the lines of a PDF where somebody can go and do the inspection. I believe.
Yeah, and he's saying that FHA. I mean, I would love to see what FHA is going to clear that without that inspection done. He's just assuming that. But most of that stuff, if they don't have all that inspection, FHA won't go FHA. I mean, he seems to think it will, but not sure about a minimum offer amount. Okay. See, the other problem I have with this is he's saying $573 payment, whereas their mortgage is showing only $333. So there's like a $240 difference. Is that, I'm assuming that's going to be taxes, insurance? Does that make sense?
Hold on, wait.
Sorry, I'm on
trying
number
to-
4.
Oh, you're good. I'm trying to figure out how I got the other number I told you about for the payments. What was the other number you said?
So the number that comes up on their mortgage is $333. Austin Moore is claiming that it's $573. And the only thing I can assume is that means there's no escrow held. So they waived escrow, meaning that, I mean, they don't have the taxes, insurance, and their mortgage payment. Does that make sense?
Wow. Okay, so it does. Are you looking at it like through auto leads or something like that?
Yeah, prob.
Dang. Okay, this is not. Yeah, this is bad.
Yeah. So.
Well. Huh. Okay.
So that's just number 4 on his list here, and then number 5. Not sure about a minimum offer amount.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, the only way you can wholesale this is, like I said, if you get it down to that 90. Like, if you sent this to Eric with a cash offer that they signed for 96.3, and pretty much, I mean, I guarantee that he's gonna buy it. Because you took
96.3.
Yeah, 96.3. Because
Yeah.
that's and the other thing about that is that's this cash contract that you're gonna get signed by the owner and agent, but then the one that you're gonna actually sell to the group or Eric or whatever buyer he's got, you're gonna sell that for $15K more. Does that make sense? So you're gonna actually write up the contract. You're gonna offer it up for $111.3. Does that make sense? But you have to get it under contract with
Yeah, I would have to
Austin
get it. Yeah.
and the owner
Right.
at 96.3.
Okay.
So you can tell Austin, you can negotiate with him. You're like, look, the only thing I got for you is a 96.3 cash offer, and it's based on the foundation, the insulation, the whole due diligence thing. And if you want to write it down, I mean, I can actually type it up for you, but he should know that 1940s homes in that area, and just in any area, are built with insulation, asbestos problems. That means you might have to do an asbestos abatement, which means you're going to have to go in there and rip out all the insulation anyway. It's a lot of those things. The knob and tube wiring, or like old Romex that has no sheathing. That's a huge fire hazard.
You've messed with a lot of that before. I heard you talking to the Zooms about you've done stuff like that in the past, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Something similar.
Yep, and then so
Gosh.
this agent should know all that. If he doesn't, that's, you don't really even have to bring all that up. All you really have to do is just shoot him that cash offer for 96,300, because he says here on number 5, he says not sure about a minimum offer amount.
Oh yeah, not yeah. Okay.
Well, I know, I am sure it's 96.3. That's the best you got for him. And the reason being for you don't have to tell him this, but this is just for you to understand at this point.
Right.
96.3 is what you get it under contract for, cash contract, and then you go to Eric and you're like, Eric, this thing's listed for 159. but I got the cash offer for 96.3, and say I'll sell it to you, Eric, for 11.3, 111.3, and then if he does the math on that, he already knows that what you're saying is, you as Joe, I'm asking now for a $15,000 assignment fee. Does that make sense?
Well, so I would have the contract signed by Austin and Lynn.
For 96.3.
Get it for 96.3, and
Yep.
then have it, and then tell Eric it's listed at 190, 150, yeah, 159,900, and then I'll sell it to you.
You can do it for 111.
111.
300.
111,300.
Yep.
111. Sorry. 111,300.
Yep.
Okay.
Does that kind of make sense? Yeah, because this agent doesn't. You see how it says number 5, not sure about a minimum offer amount.
Okay, so it seems like he's.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't. Yeah, that makes sense for that you offered that. So
Yep.
the contract or the assignment fee that would be taken out of the 111. Oh wait,
Yep.
96 and 11 is 15. Hold
Yep.
on. Okay.
And do you know why you got that?
Let me see. Let me do the math.
Yep.
It
And I'll
cancels
tell you the next
out.
number.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, if you don't mind, I guess I'm ready for it. Yeah.
Are you at the 111,300 now?
Yeah, I just subtracted.
All right, so if you have-
I can
if
do
you
it in my
have-
head. Honestly, but
If you write down the 96.3, that's your cash contract offer. You have to get signed, right?
96.3. Yeah.
Then you put a plus sign and you put 15,000,
Okay.
and then you label that assignment fee. And then
Assignment fee.
yeah. And then that should.
And then
put
he would have
equal.
signed it. Okay.
If you put an equal sign,
Equal.
and then you write down 111,300.
Okay.
And then you times that by 1.3.
1.3. Let's see what I get.
Yeah, see what you get.
Should be a small number. 300 times 1.3, 144. So the ARV, is that what we're going for? That's what it could go for. Or sorry,
Yeah,
no.
that's pretty much what yeah, that's ARV or what they're listing for the roundabout, because if you do 0.7, have you ever heard Eric talk about this calculation where you take the list price and you times it by 0.7? It's a very standard like rehab calculation. So you take the cost, the list price, you times it by 0.65 or 0.7 or 0.75, and it gives you the cash off it gives you the amount.
Yeah, MOA. Yeah.
You've heard of that before?
Right, gives you your max amount offered.
Max allowable offer.
Max
That's
allowable.
right. But then
Okay.
you want to also take your assignment fee out of it. Does that make sense?
Okay.
You see?
Let's see. Then take assignment fee out. So I'd take those numbers and I would subtract the assignment fee. And the assignment fee is. How do you
Yeah, that's
determine
how
that
much
number?
you make on it. Typically, assignment fees should be around 15K. Eric's been doing them for a little bit lower than that, but that's, I mean, somewhere between like 3K minimum to like 15K, something like that. So, I mean, I've seen them done all over the map lately. I've seen them done for like $2,000, $3,000, 7. You know, they're supposed to be 15, but you know, if you can make $3,000 off it, that's still a decent deal, right? Flipping the paper.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember him talking about the 0.7, 0.65. And
Yeah.
I did that math myself, and I was like, "What's this big number?" Or it was a little bit bigger, and I was watching his videos on TikTok. But I'm still kind of I'm pretty much through the A1 course, and I'm just kind of basically learning how to do the subject 2, and then seller finance. And I was talking to one guy earlier. He's working on a fixer up, and he's just going to do it himself. So I have had a few people. I just do a bunch of emails, reaching out to people. I've done, I don't know, maybe do 15 to 20 a day, potentially just give it a pitch, and then seeing what kind of loan the seller has, and then to see if they're available for any seller financing you're subject to.
Sweet.
Which is a lot to do, but that's what I do.
No, that sounds good. That's pretty much the wholesaler's process. You got it. Just going through the emails and stuff. I'm reading his email, and I'm seeing this offer. I think you're good with that. You send a wholesale offer like that, that should be pretty solid.
Send it on over to
Austin for the 96. So just
Austin,
tell him, look, just tell him I'm gonna send it. When you talk to him, just tell him the best you got is a cash offer of 96,300. And yeah, so and there's two exits for that. There's either Eric's gonna buy it himself because it's such a great deal, or you could even yourself, if you wanted to just manage this whole thing yourself, you could go get a fix and flip loan with that, and you can just get money to fix and flip it if you wanted to get into like project management,
My roommate actually has his own construction business, but he's doing another sales job. But that 15K, whatever amount, I do have my own business currently right now, but it would help out, and I could put that on a down payment. And then this is also crazy too. I had another email. I think that I sent out to you, or I did not yet. But it was. Let's see what's going on here. It's a potential deal with. Let's see. He's an investor and retail, or he's a realtor, and then also he's flipping this property, and he would potentially be open to seller finance, but he prefers not to. But he might be able to consider it, and he was just wondering what I had in mind. And I know your time's limited here, but that was around 10:30 this morning. I was just gonna figure out how to run that. I have the numbers for the rent on here as well.
Is it a sub-2
Not
deal?
that rent off. It could be a seller finance because he paid all cash for it, and he's not.
Okay. Yeah, seller finance.
Yeah, he paid all cash for it. Yeah. And I have the rent number. I found that on Zillow Rent Zestimate, and it gave me 1578, and then I added the 300 profit and the vacancy and the cap expenditure fees and taxes, insurance. And then for a 10-year balloon, I got 79,488, and then 8 years 63,590. But I just don't know if he'd want to work with that. I can share you the address if you're interested. Maybe, I guess, looking at it.
Yeah, you can shoot it in there. I'll check it out real quick.
Yeah. I appreciate it. It's just
If you just read off the address, I can also find it probably.
Oh yeah, 8604 Ford Avenue,
Ford Ave.
Graytown, Missouri.
Greentown, Missouri.
Graytown, yes, RAY. Graytown.
So this place, 8604. It's 229.
Yes, that's right.
All right, so this is the guy we were talking to in the Zoom that one time. Roscoe.
Oh, sorry, no, that's a totally different one. I kind of moved on.
Okay.
That one, yeah, different
Sweet.
one. Yeah.
So it looks like this is going to be probably a seller finance deal. I'll look into if there's no mortgage on it. How much do you think this could rent for?
I went on Zillow. It's 1578. That's what I found on Zillow. There on. I typed it in, and then put it in my email, and it gave me the number of 1578. Even though I should have gone on the comps and looked for sold and then rent around there, and I don't know if that would have been a better method than just going on a Zillow rent calculator.
Rent-to-meter, Zillow rent, those work. Either one works.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you're saying the monthly rent I'm pulling up right now is around 1131. So like $1,100.
1,131. Let me redo that math again. So 10% of that would be 130. 1131. That's 10% of that.
I'm also gonna back check this. So it's a 3-2. No, it's a. Let's see. All right, it's a 4-2. So looks like 4-2s in that area right now, or that property. Might only dump. If you could rent it for $1,600 a month, that's pretty good, and that's based on 23 4-bedroom, 1.5 or more baths in the last 12 months in a 1.5 mile radius. So
you went on Zillow there and you looked at the miles or the the square footage in the same area, right?
yeah, basically like AirDNA is one of the things that like loan officers, like loan people use to figure out how much they could loan on. Like if they do a
I was gonna do
DSCR.
AirDNA, yeah. I was gonna do what's it called? Airbnb. I was gonna do all that, but it did not work out, and just had a hard time trying to pitch to landlords and stuff. So I'm trying something different, I guess. But
So
sorry, I didn't mean to go off topic. Let's see if it rents out for
it's
$1,600. There.
if you think you get 1,600, and did you check the Section 8 on it?
I did not. I don't know if that could be a Section 8 house to rent out.
Yeah, it'll be kind of hard.
I was just thinking of a family, pretty much somebody who has a good credit score and has a good job that can pay for it. That's kind of what I was going for, just the safety net of having that.
Yeah.
And with a good credit score.
Well, yeah, family would probably like it. 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, $1,600 a month. That's a pretty decent deal. If you think you could do
I'm
that.
thinking of, yeah.
But you'd have to get him to agree to let it go for less than $1,000 a month. You think that would be possible?
I do not know. I could email him and ask, but.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, wait, sorry.
I would put it. I'd put it. It's a seller. The thing I would send him, I'd be like, I got a seller finance offer for you, with a contingency, and the contingency is just that I rent it out to a family at $1,600 plus a month, and I secure that with a security deposit and first and last month rent, and that would be the seller finance contingent offer. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, it does. What'd you say at the end with the security deposit of?
So the way you do a 30-day contingency, like due diligence, so you're basically you're wagering that you can get that place rented in the next 30 days with a security deposit, first month and last month, on a 12-month lease. Does that kind of make sense?
First.
Yep.
And 12-month lease.
Yep. It's pretty simple. A family comes in there. If you can list that to a family in the next 30 days, they go in there, you show it to them, and they like it, and you agree on $1,600 a month. All they have to do is come up with the security deposit, first and last month, and sign the lease. Does that make sense? The lease will basically, if you want to have a good lease, most good leases have security deposits, and they cover the first and last month. Like you were saying, good credit's good too, but I've seen, like, remember what Eric was talking about, where you'll have people with like decent credit. He'll say, just give me a down payment, just give me a security deposit, and then they'll give him a big chunk of money, and then like the third month comes by and they don't really pay. Have you heard Eric talk about that? Yeah, Joe. You still there? Cut out, broski.
If you can still hear me.
Oh yeah, it just came back.
Okay.
It
Ah,
cut out
dang
for a
it.
second. Yeah, so that's the way that thing would probably rent. But does that kind of make sense?
It does, and now that I'm, yeah, now that we're talking about it more, but it does make more sense. The more I just uh, learn about it and just repeat and just also failing and learning where I went wrong and how I could, I guess,
Like I could probably call
improve.
this agent right now and kind of tell him that what I
Okay.
told you about it's a seller finance contingent offer. I could shoot that to him verbally, and then confirm it with an email. It's pretty much what
If
I
you
would
wouldn't
do.
mind doing that, yeah. Oh gosh. Okay.
All right,
Would,
I'll call them and I'm gonna see what they say. I'm
okay.
just gonna
Thank you.
I'm gonna go cold on it, but we'll see. Float the idea to him.
You're gonna come off as my partner, I think.
I think I'm just gonna go cold on it. I was just gonna call and just say I got somebody wants to rent the place.
Okay.
And what he's willing to do is, I think you really can't pay more than $1,000 a month. Oh, let me work out the numbers real quick because you want to figure out if this is even possible. I was just gonna shoot the offer to him and see if they accept it. You know, because the terms that I'm stating are very easy and manageable. The question is, are they going to accept it? And basically, what I'm saying is, if you give it to me for 1,000, I think I could rent it for more than that in the next 30 days. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
So,
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
right.
So finding somebody who could rent it there within 30 days of it's gonna be more than 1,000. Yeah.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep. And typically, 500 to 700 more is what Eric likes to say.
Oh, okay.
And that's pretty
Okay.
much consistent where I'm at. I'm minimum of 500 or more. You know, because there's all kind of little things that could pop up. You know, but 500 is
I was yeah.
I mean, it's a decent cushion on that rental.
Okay.
It's hard to squeeze more out of that. I mean, I don't know. They might say, "Oh, we'll take 700 a month," and then you really got a deal. You know. But basically, you're betting that if they give it to you for 1,000 right now, you'll have it rented for more than that in 30 days, or less,
Okay.
right? You could probably even shoot that offer yourself. I don't have to really call them,
More.
but that'll cover you because if they accept that offer, you know they might gawk at it. They might be like, "Oh, we can never do that," but then you have your reasoning because it's not going to rent for more than 1,600 a month. You know, there's not a single example in that area. 20 out of 23 in the last 12 months in a 1.5 mile radius, they haven't rented from. That's a 75 percentile rent. You know, that's a pretty decent markup on rent, and it's not that far off from the average. The average is only 1,500. You know, so you're basically going by very like good numbers, very accurate numbers. You know,
The data is
Yeah,
what's
the data.
what shows you.
it's all data, right?
Huh?
So, yeah, I would call them up and just tell them exactly that. Say like, if you rent it to me for 1,000, I can probably rent it for 1,600 in the next 30 days. You want to sign something to make it official? You know, send it over.
So this is a gosh, I'm not confident in this, but I don't know. I like more. So I guess just replying through email or just texting through email because sometimes I just get a little over too anxious with some phone calls with certain people I don't really know. But
Yeah.
unless we
You just
like with
you
you
just
and I,
call
we've
them
been
and
on
just
Zoom.
you just tell them what you got. Say, look, I can't pay more than 1,000 a month to rent it. And I mean, you can pay them 1,000 a month to rent it out. And just tell them that, and then whatever they say, just tell them, you know, I gave you my offer. I'll follow up with an email. If you don't want to sit there and talk to them on the phone, you know what I mean? Just confirm that you'll follow up with an email. If they don't understand, the terms verbally, we can just we can write it down. We don't even have to talk. We can just sign it. You know what I mean?
Or I'll just send it over. Yeah, I should just call him. Yeah, I don't know why I'm so scared.
Yeah. Yeah, you can just call him. That's gonna be an easy one. Just call him up. You tell him that, and I mean, the thing that they're probably gonna say, they're gonna be like, "Oh, well, it's listed for $229," and that it is, but you can actually technically close them out at $229 with what's called a seller finance contingent offer, which is what you're sending, And the way that works is you close them out, they hold paper on it. I don't know if you heard Eric talk about this.
I have, yeah.
And basically your seller note is going to say $1,000. You just get the number there. I mean, you see what I'm saying? Like, they
My
might
seller
come
note
back.
is 1,000. Okay.
Right.
I can do the phone call if you want to stay here and listen to it, but
You could shoot it to him. I got to run in like 2 minutes or 4 minutes, but yeah,
Okay.
go ahead and do it. I'll listen.
here, yeah, let me call him real quick. Okay. Let's see here.
All the magic happens.
Right.
I have
Yeah, they didn't take the call. So on a $229,000 purchase and a 39-year amortization schedule, how can I get the payment down to $1,000 when I adjust for 0 interest and 0 down payment?
To calculate the monthly payment for a $229,000 purchase for a 39-year amortization schedule, 0 interest and no down payment, includes the following formula for simplification. Backslash text the monthly payment equals backslash.
All right, now do it for a 30-year amortization.
For a 30-year amortization schedule, 0 interest and no down payment, we can use the same formula. Backslash text the monthly payment equals backslash bracket backslash text. Total loan amount and backslash text number of months owed. Given. Total loan amount equals $229,000. Number of months equals 30 years asterisk 12 months slash year equals 360 months. So, backslash text monthly payment equals backslash frac 229,360 backslash approximates 636.11.
Yo, no, I can't hear you.
This means your monthly payment will be approximately $636.11, which is still below your target of $1,000. If you have any other questions or need further adjustments, feel free to ask.
Yo, you there? Can you hear that? Yo, can you hear me? Yeah, Joe.
KC Residential Pet Services. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press
Yo, what's up, Joe?
Hey, sorry about that. Sorry. I was on my pet though.
Yeah. So, looks like a 30-year AM with no interest and no down payment can actually get you down to 636. So,
0%.
yeah, 0 interest and 0 down on a 30-year AM gets you a monthly payment of 636.11 at their current purchase. At the 229 they're at, you know. Another way you could do it is you could just take the 229 and divide it by 360. But if they want, if he didn't mention anything about interest, that's really good because that could kill a deal sometimes. But what I would return back, what I usually do for these, I'll say that the down payment is the security deposit first month and last month when you collect it from the tenant. So in this case, let's say you get somebody to rent it for $1,600, which is what you probably list it for. Well, that tenant has to come to you with $4,800. So I would see if he can, if he takes a $4,800 down payment, you could cover that, no money out of pocket.
Wow, okay, so security and with 0% down and no interest, that would get a monthly payment of
636.11.
sorry,
636.11.
611 after the 229.
Yeah, if you did the 229 purchase, that's giving them full ass.
And I had one here. He told me to take that selling price and about 360. I don't think he said interest.
No, he didn't. He didn't. If all he said is he wants to know the down payment I can provide, don't mention interest. Nope. You know. But the down payment you can provide is simply $4,800, and the way you get that is security deposit $1,600, first month of rent $1,600, and then last month of rent $1,600. Yep.
Okay, that does make more sense. Yeah, okay. Because when I gotta be honest, when I was in my co-holder, I had a big point in each house, and I was just so yeah.
Yep. No worries, man. That's it. That sums it up. This guy looks like he's gonna work with you. If he's not mentioning it,
I'm gonna send you just a draft email I have. You can reply yes, it's good, and I'll send on over to yes, and awesome. That thing we talked about. Thank you so much for your time, Mike.
Yeah, man. Send it over. I'll give you a check or a thumbs up, something like that. We'll get it done.
Sir, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Thanks, Joe. Later.